In the heart of Chicago, surrounded by towering skyscrapers and the constant hum of ambition, there was a small, dimly lit office above a corner bakery. Inside sat David Miller, a man in his mid-30s who had given over a decade of his life to working as an accountant in a large corporate firm. On paper, David had everything: steady paychecks, health benefits, and a safe career. But deep inside, he felt empty. Numbers had always been his passion, yet at his job, his ideas were dismissed, his dedication overlooked, and his dreams ignored. He wanted to help small businesses, people like his father, who once ran a corner hardware store and lost it because no one taught him how to manage money. That memory burned in David's heart. Every night, he asked himself the same questions. What if I started my own firm? What if I could give other small business owners the financial guidance my dad never had? But every time, fear drowned the thought. Fear of failure, fear of debt, fear of disappointing his family. One morning, while staring at his reflection in the bathroom mirror, David whispered, "If I don't try now, I'll regret it forever." That moment became the turning point. With trembling hands, David typed his resignation letter. He walked out of the corporate office for the last time with nothing but his savings, a laptop, and a head full of determination. He rented a small one-room office above a bakery on the west side of Chicago. The space was tiny, the walls cracked, and the furniture secondhand. But to David, it was freedom. Every morning, the smell of fresh bread floated upstairs, reminding him that even humble beginnings could create something wonderful. The first months nearly broke him. He cold-called dozens of businesses every day. He attended networking events where people barely remembered his name. He handed out business cards at coffee shops, only to see them tossed aside. His phone stayed silent, his inbox empty. Bills piled up. His savings drained faster than he expected. At night, he lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he'd made a catastrophic mistake. His friends whispered doubts, and even his family suggested he return to a real job. Yet deep down, David knew that if he quit now, he'd never forgive himself. Then came a lifeline. A small family-owned Italian restaurant reached out. Their books were a mess, and tax season loomed like a storm. David worked tirelessly, sometimes until dawn, cleaning up their accounts, creating new systems, and teaching them how to track every dollar. When the owners saw the results, they hugged him in relief. "You saved us," the restaurant's matriarch told him. They recommended him to 2 other business owners. And for the first time, David felt momentum. His client list began to grow slowly, one referral at a time. A hardware store called, then a boutique clothing shop, then a local nonprofit. Each time, David poured himself into the work. He didn't just balance numbers, he explained them. He sat with clients, listened to their struggles, and helped them see a clearer future. And that's what set him apart. To David, every client was more than an account. They were dreamers, risk-takers, people fighting to keep their vision alive. He wasn't just their accountant, he was their partner. The real test came during a brutal Chicago winter. One of his largest clients, a logistics company, faced an IRS audit that threatened to shut them down. Hundreds of jobs hung in the balance. David locked himself in his office for weeks, combing through years of records, double-checking every transaction, preparing every possible explanation. He barely slept. When the day of the audit arrived, he walked in with calm confidence, armed with binders of evidence and a relentless belief that he could protect his client. Weeks later, the news arrived. The company was cleared of major penalties. The relief on the owner's face was unforgettable. He shook David's hand, his voice breaking. "You didn't just save my business. You saved my family." Word spread quickly. Suddenly, David wasn't just an accountant. He was the accountant, someone people could trust with their livelihood. Over the next 5 years, David's firm expanded beyond anything he had imagined. He moved from his bakery office into a full-floor suite overlooking the Chicago skyline. He hired a team of accountants who shared his philosophy. Numbers matter, but people matter more. Clients often said, "David gives us peace of mind." And in the stressful world of business, that was priceless. His firm became known not just for financial expertise, but for compassion and loyalty. But David never forgot his early struggles. When young entrepreneurs came to him for advice, he told them his truth. Success isn't built in a single leap. It's built brick by brick, through perseverance when the world doubts you. Years later, David stood in his new office, gazing at the city that once seemed so far beyond his reach. He remembered the bakery below his first office, the empty nights when he thought about giving up, and the courage it took to take that first step. His story wasn't just about building a profitable company. It was about building a legacy. It was about proving that one person, starting with nothing but a dream and relentless grit, could rise and create something lasting. And that's the essence of every successful business story. It's not about wealth alone. It's about courage in the face of fear, persistence in the face of failure, and faith in the face of doubt. David's journey reminds us all. The most powerful legacies aren't inherited. They're built by ordinary people who choose to believe in themselves when no one else does. The accountant who once sat in a tiny office above a bakery became more than a business owner. He became a symbol of what's possible when faith outweighs fear. His story whispers to anyone still sitting in a cubicle, quietly dreaming of more. Your successful business story doesn't start when the world believes in you. It starts the moment you believe in yourself.